it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. All right. Anyways, I just scrapped 5 minutes. Probably the hardest 5 minutes I've ever sat through with myself ever. So, anyways, I'm trying this again. Welcome back to Jesters Privilege with James Patrick. Um, get ready for a wild ride, folks. I've been all over the place since the last time. I've graced your screens because that's truly what it is. It's a blessing every time that I pop on. If you're not aware, actually, I'm not going to put that on. That'll dox me. I'm James Patrick, man with Jester's privilege. Though I do believe we all have it, or none of us do. Isn't that a paradox? Now, nervous already. I would love to talk about a lot of things as I think about things quite often. One could say you can't escape it. Primarily, I say that about myself, though I don't want to. Because if my thoughts turn off, what am I? Anyways, I actually, let's start there. I think I hear this rhetoric all the time of um, like I wish I could turn my brain off, or like, like, or I saw this video that popped up on social. I think it was a TikTok or reel or something that I only really use Twitter. But anyways, it made its way to Twitter, and it was this guy casually asking people like, is there anything scarier than being alone with your thoughts? And everyone was like, no, that's probably it. And I understand the sentiment. Let me slow down. I understand the sentiment. You know, probably, I want to say I understand it probably more than most. You know, I think something that I've been blessed with is my capability to take a take a bird's eye view. I think I've said that before without sucking my own dick too much, but I do try my best and pretty much get nervous and I itch my feet. Isn't this I need to put on shoes or something. That way I stop doing that. I did that. I was anyways, I understand the sentiment. That shit is fucking terrifying. Most of the time I'm sure and we all kind of probably feel this way that, you are your own worst enemy, but you are also your own best friend, you know? And I suppose an easy way to mm, maybe visualize that is it's like maybe like the stereotypical like devil angel on the shoulder type thing. And this one would be your worst enemy, and this one would be your best friend, and they're both standing on your shoulder and they're just shooting their little X-ray blaster of different thoughts into your brain. They're hijacking your frequency, and they're both airdropping right to the centerpiece noggin. And sometimes it's hard to avoid. And then if your worst enemy would be deteriorating you drastically with the negative frequency that it's providing you, your best friend maybe be how would you say, not being fully honest with you. Maybe that would be where ego comes from, is when your own best friend is not being very honest with you. So obviously you need both of them, but the truth is that you can also reject them at certain times. I said that if my thoughts disappear, then what am I? But it's also true that not every thought I have is my own thought. Bear with me here, folks. I believe we all tap into what I've referred to before as source or as God. I believe that's probably something that we are all connected to in one way or another. And if we're all connected to it, then by that suggests that we all have a piece of it, which suggests that we are all it by extension. Obviously, we are not, but that thing that is within inside of us all. Is what I'm trying to say is it's like if when you're in your darkest, something good can pull you out of that. That was always inside of you, but that probably comes from something that was much greater than you that you're now tapping into, right? Because as we all know, the human is very destructive, and once you kind of lean into the sweet whispers of your worst enemy, kind of can become comfortable. It can become very comfortable. It can, oh, it can, you know, um, but like anything, like any bad habit or any um addiction, everyone wants to say that like addiction isn't a choice. That it gets to a certain point where, certain things are taking over. I think in a lot of ways we're addicted to our negative thought patterns. We're addicted to the sweet whispers of our worst enemy. We're addicted to hearing the worst thing about ourselves all the time, or always assuming um that we're the villain in that situation. And sometimes that's valid. Sometimes you have to take a step back and understand that you've gotten here because you and these sweet nothings have led you down a trajectory that only you and you. I don't know what I'm ranting about. I apologize, folks. Actually, maybe that's what this is all about. Bottle flip for nothing. Seven minutes. All right. That's God talking. Not scrapping this. I don't know if I was really getting anywhere with that thought. Maybe it makes sense to someone else. My point being though is that those sweet whispers aren't always your own, and you don't have to take them in. If it's positive to say that you, too much self-talk just becomes ego or some sort of God complex or something. Well, there's also the inverse of that. That's all I'm suggesting. Your thoughts are both your worst enemy and your best friend, and something that you have no control over because they're not your own. So just reject them. Easier said than done. Something I don't have any cool quotes or anything written out for you this time. No Heraclitus. Um, Nothing cool. Something I was reflecting on the other day that I wrote. I said doors are being opened for me. Stay patient and trust the plan that is being laid out for you. Banking it all again on a Hail Mary. One of these days the pot will run out. When you've lost it all, remember that you've lost nothing. You're exactly where you started. Essentially, philosophers, the job's over. Um, but no. Um, this is 2011, so I would have been about, excuse my coke nails, I would have been 7 years old in that photograph right there. Um, it's really easy, you know. I come from, I come from not nothing, I suppose, but not much of anything at all. And so oftentimes I get really down on myself. I think it's um, kind of a prominent feeling amongst most young men right now, especially if you're on any sort of social media. Because podcast brought to you by Spider-Man. Especially if you're on any sort of social media, right? Because if for young women right now, it's kind of like the over sexualization of themselves. That's kind of like the bane of, uh, or just kind of like the hardcore feminist wave or whatever. Kind of diverts women out of their natural path or whatever. And hey, anyone's free to live the life that they want. Cool beans. But you're wrong. The inverse for that would be for a lot of men, young men, me, for me, it's really easy for me to stop deflating. It's really easy for me to be on social media and see all sorts of things about different tiers of success people are reaching, or different milestones that they're achieving within their, within their whatever. Everyone knows what I'm trying to talk about. It's kind of, um, but then I look at this picture of myself when I was 7 years old, you know, the mischievous James Patrick, really, that this all kind of stems from, and I realized that this kid had nothing, but yet he had everything, you know. Kind of to touch back on the thoughts, if they're all I have, this kid had some of the best thoughts I've ever come across, you know. This kid, at such a young age was able to conceptualize things that not to say that this kid was some sort of genius or anything like that, but because I don't think that to be the case. I don't think that like I have any sort of innate capability to solve high intensity math equations or some sort of super intense string theory problem, or I'm in no way an intense statistician or of any sorts or anything like that. But for whatever reason, he had an innate ability to grasp whatever, you know. And he'd get in a room and he'd be the quiet kid and he'd sit there and then he'd open his mouth. The first time he opens his mouth all day, met with a chuckle. Superpower. God, this kid was nice, right? So then when I sit here and I think to myself, what kind of man do I want to be? How am I living up to the man that this kid would have wanted me to be? Am I measuring that by the insane levels of success that I'm being propagandized by all day every day? Like you have to do your Bugatti or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what I'm really trying to reference right now, because it doesn't stick. And if it doesn't stick with me, it's not that important. And it's not that important because I realize the only thing that's important to me or that has ever been important to me was to feel capable. It's not any measure of success or any measure of status or obtaining anything. It was when I'm sitting around people, the only thing that's ever been real. How can I how can I navigate that in a way that's both interesting to me and also fulfilling to myself and those around me? And I think I always understood that. I always understood that. And I don't know. I'm sucking my own dick as a 7-year-old. No Diddy. I haven't had any baby lotion in a while. My point being is that everything is going to try to pollute you and to tell you you're not doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. But if you weren't doing exactly what it is that you were supposed to be doing, you'd be doing something else. Let's talk about dreams. I promised we'd talk about dreams last time, and here I am to talk about them. Um, sorry. Dreams are powerful, man. Dreams are powerful, man. Um, but no, I was talking to a friend of mine within the last 48, so chance you could still find the body. But we were talking about dreams to a degree, and they were bringing up questions, or more, maybe not questions, more so holes in the string board I'm trying to put together. String board being, I don't know exactly what they're called. Like, in like those cop movies, the early, like 2000s, early 2010s, where they have the poster board and it's like, this guy did it, and it's, or like in big mafia movies where they're like trying to find the head kappa, or they're finding the kappas to find the boss. Anyways, one of those is how I'm trying to put together my dreams and whatever the fuck I'm supposed to be taking from them, milking the udders of my dreams. Um, I suppose to a degree I'm almost nervous to share some of these, or just share some of the um, intimate moments I share with my internalized psyche, but maybe it can help me or someone, hopefully me. Um, but I was talking to them, and then the following day they shared a dream with me that they also then found emotionally provoking or powerful. And that's not my place to talk. I apologize about that. I'm gonna retract that and stick to only my point of view, because that's the only thing that's really fair to talk about. Dreams have helped me. Dreams have helped me a lot. Dreams have helped me say goodbye. Dreams have helped me um, process things that I seemingly couldn't process myself. Whatever myself is when I'm behind my eyelids for a certain amount of time, he was able to help me learn about myself or how I'm interacting. He also puzzles me. He also stumps me quite often. He also, he being my friend behind the eyelid, um, he puzzles me to a degree that it's almost like he knows exactly how I would be able to figure something out, and however he programs his messages, he uh, kind of reverse engineered the system in which I would be able to figure it out, to perfectly match how I would never be able to. So I bring it to you in hopes, uh, lone traveler. We bring to you moments from my subconscious, my psyche. All right, that's Gorgon, the all-knowing. He'll be back here for the remainder of the. You know what? He as well as young Pat right there, young P Nasty. They'll be there for the remainder of the episode. What was I talking about? I forget exactly. Um, just dive right into it. Oh, what a head rush. That doesn't happen to me in a minute. I wonder if that's from me thinking really hard or if that's from the nicotine, to be quite honest. That is a new vape. Fuck, I don't like it when they bite back. Anyways, don't vape, kids. On the morning of September 9th, I woke up with my peace disturbed. My senses communicating something to me, and now I know you're coming. Were you here before? This was around the time that I was. You know what? For my sanity, I'm going to preface this segment with. It might be entirely coherent, and it's more so me questioning the abyss, maybe, for some more perspective. Um, but I knew that someone was that had been removed from my life was coming back into it for a closed amount of time. And for a couple days before that, I had that dream. I something fell off. I couldn't. It's like if 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 on an old TV you have rabbit ears to fine tune to find the station, I could get the channel on, but I couldn't get it crystal clear, and it wasn't coming through to me, and it was frustrating me to no end. And then by the morning of this dream, when I recorded what I had just read you, it had been confirmed to me that this person was going to make an appearance. We'll put it that way, right? And so, when you're engaged with someone for a certain amount of time, I believe you probably tune to the same frequency. Whatever it is that I'm vibrating at or that she was vibrating at, we probably vibrated around the same thing together. And then when that vibration was disrupted, probably when we strayed apart, right? But now envision right, in a world where maybe we are more than just some physical body physically sleeping here for 8 minutes, whatever. Maybe my friend behind the eyelid had some sort of sense that because when you separate, I'm probably going to revert to the frequency that I naturally vibrate at, and that person would probably revert to the frequency that they naturally vibrate at. And so I'm doing all these fucking weird bits just to give myself confidence to speak, and it's pretty fucking pitiful. But so if my friend behind the eyelid knew that there was a chance that this person would make an appearance in my life again, would it be that it was already kind of tuning me back to that frequency for a second? Was I reverting back out of the frequency that I was getting used to, having left the mutual frequency, coming back into myself, and then the guy behind the eyelids was kind of preferencing me, and that's why I couldn't get the vision crystal clear? I'm not sure. But when I awoke from that dream, which I can't even necessarily paint a picture of for you because I don't remember it, I just remember the feeling, much like I don't remember any names of any of the people that I take ideas from. I just remember the thought that, or the feeling that it made me, anyways, the concept, rather. Um, when I woke from that dream, I knew it was confirmation that I wasn't just kind of feeling. Okay, because before I had the dream, I had no confirmation that this person was making an appearance, and then I awoke from this dream. Um, this was my reflection that my peace disturbed my sense of communicating, and then the day after, I find out, or I think later that day, I found out that okay, that's why. So my the dream that I was having, I'm chilling, sitting wherever I was or whatever. This one wasn't as remember memorable, but the feeling was. But whatever I was doing, and then this distortion, I suppose. Like imagine maybe like a filter on a photo. This distortion kind of comes over my dream, um, and that feeling of distortion was the same feeling that my physical self would feel when I was feeling kind of just out of it, right? So that was amazing. I'm trying. Maybe I try to be vulnerable, or I try to like express myself, and then get upset because I'm not sure I'm doing a very good job. I think I'm doing a great job. I think I'm not allowing myself to do the job I would like to do. But yeah. Okay, so maybe that's one. Let's get further into the sample size, and then we can start coming to the conclusions. Um, Another morning I woke up with, and obviously a lot of this won't make sense to you because you don't understand my life or the different things that would hold eminent value to me, but I, I hope that the more I do this, maybe the easier it'll be. Like everything. The prowler transport. Sleeping next to a lady seemed motherly. I'm climbing around the prowler and the frame is falling apart. Seemed to be looking for something. I tried to begin doing something good for myself and instantly tainted it with something sad for me. Bad for me, rather. Um, this was one of my first entries. This is kind of a recurring theme within my dreams, dreamland, dream me, dream um space. I don't know. Whatever it is. Envision like if you've ever seen the movie Inception, kind of like, you know, the more and more you're waking, kind of the fabric of the dream becomes more loose, not a solid buildings kind of fall over thing, that's kind of a theme in my dreams where um like where I'm pointing out that I'm laying next to a woman who seems motherly or some sort of figure because it never really takes on the I mean sometimes I would dream about my actual mother, but most of the time within dreams like it's more of like the feeling of some like a woman could be there that looks one way, right? And let's say that this woman pops up in three different dreams, but in each dream she can look exactly the same, but in one dream she will feel motherly, in in one dream she will feel like that how of a romantic partner would feel, or in one dream she'll feel that of like how a close friend or like my sister would feel to me. And it can be, it's not the vision that necessarily matters, but more so what I'm feeling. And so when I'm bringing up the Prowler transport, so the Prowler was this trailer. When I was growing up for a while, when my parents lost one of our first houses, we moved into a travel trailer. My sister, myself, my father, my mother, and our various animals. It was a Prowler. I think these were popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. Um, but anyway, that's a prominent place from my childhood. And then I'm laying next to uh, something that would be reminiscent of my childhood. And like I said, this was one of my first entries. And like everything in my life, when something's going good, and then I kind of start to get comfortable into it, or I try to do something nice or good for myself or whatever, like always, I'll taint it with something negative. I'll um, just kind of blow my life up for the fun of it in some regard or whatever. Um, I don't know what I was looking for. I'm always looking for something though, right? Some other entries I have. Sleep was broken up. I saw things I can't explain. Um, Not because they are magnificent, but it was more feeling. Try again tomorrow. Sometimes it doesn't work, folks. Keep going. 3 days later, sometimes I don't dream. 3 days later, uh, the dream starts with me oversleeping for something important that day. I was in a panic but don't remember the time. After a while, I realized I hadn't overslept, and the theme changed. At one point, this young lady, separate from the other young lady, we'll call her Jamie. Well, no, I don't want to do that. Fuck. We'll call her Frank. All right, separate. Separate from the lady that showed up that I was with for a long time. This was that was a recent lady. This lady I'm talking about a long time ago, which is weird that she would show up. It's weird that Frank would show up. Frank as opposed to the recent one. It's weird that Frank would show up because um or it's weird that whatever the uh feeling of the woman there. Well, no. I said see, I'm second guessing what I have written here. She showed up. So this is what I'm saying. Why is Frank there? I don't know. Because Frank was an important part of my life when I was a younger boy. Um, Frank taught me a lot about myself without really uh, teaching me too much at all. You know, she, yeah, yeah, I would go out of focus too. Anyways, um, Frank taught me a lot about myself, and I think like every young man, certain points for young men, you have a hard time saying goodbye to certain people you attach yourself to, whether for good or for bad, or whether you really know why or not. But I was having a hard time detaching myself from Frank, or detaching myself from what I attached myself to, thinking that it was Frank. Again, I'm speaking about a young lady. But Frankie, thinking about Frankie, or whatever. Um, you know, I was literally staring at the camera. I realized I was looking directly into your soul when I was spacing off. But sorry, maybe this is hard for me to talk about. I was having a hard time getting over Frankie when I was a younger lad. And so why do I keep bringing this up? Frankie taught me a lot about myself. She taught me to value what I could offer people. She taught me, and of course she didn't teach me these things, but through interacting with her, I taught these things about myself. But I can only accredit those things to my interactions with Frankie. So, Frankie, if you ever come across this, baby, am I thankful for you. Um, uh, okay, come on. Having a hard time getting over Frankie. I'd probably say probably maybe 9 months into a year of me being on like pathetic, sad bullshit. Honestly, maybe even longer. Probably closer to a year and a half. Um, for whatever reason, no matter what she told me, no matter how she treated me or showed me, um, what value I was to her, I would try to convince myself that she just wasn't capable of showing me how I needed to be shown, which in reality I just wasn't very valuable to that person, which is okay. I'm valuable far beyond measure, not to that person, and that's alright. I was at a certain time, and sometimes your length of stay in someone's life over exceeds the value you can offer to them. And that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes. Can be. It was for me. And so no matter what I would try to do, no matter how who I would talk to about it or who would tell me deserve better, or I could do, I didn't have to put myself through, well, blah blah blah. No one could tell me shit. I'll figure it out for myself, but I couldn't. And so old buddy behind the eyelids did for me, and this isn't even written down. This is just something that I remember so vividly. Um, but the dream. I'm in a city somewhere, someplace. Um, and I'm down on the city floor. Some sort of music is playing. It's a good time, and I'm with a group of people. Um, and the feeling there was care. The feeling there was um maybe not care. The feeling was belonging. For whatever reason, I felt like within this group on the city floor, I belonged there at that moment. Um, and often times what I do um, when I'm in moments like that is I really just try to take a deep breath, and I'm a pretty solemn guy in groups. I have no problem sitting quietly and just tapping my legs and just soaking it in. Truly when I get to be around people and I get to pop into their little worlds, I try to soak it up as much as possible, and that's what I felt like I was doing in this moment. So as I'm standing with all these people that I couldn't even begin to tell you what they looked like or what they meant to me or anything. I just knew I belonged there, and I'm soaking it in, and I kind of, you know, something catches my eye, and for whatever reason, it's uh, uh, this this high-rise building, this skyscraper, I suppose. It seems very very tall. It seems like it goes past the what could be the visible skyline. It rises into the clouds past the point that you have to be on a plane to get up there. It just catches my eye, and I can't escape the feeling of, well, here I go. Like I do when I'm placed in positions like this, I'm assuming. And so for whatever reason, it grabs my attention enough to pluck me from my group, and I set off. And I don't remember the walk or how, but then I remember getting in the building, and it's a hotel, or it's some sort of condo, or it's some sort of apartment building, or however you want to visualize it. And so I make my way to the elevator, and I'm, you know, where am I going? And I'm just kind of going floor to floor, and dude, I get off every floor, and it's fucking, I mean, beautiful. I mean, you have flowers and vases, which is what makes a building beautiful to me, I guess, is putting flowers in a vase. But every floor is, um, it's furnished in such a way that I couldn't even envision being able to be able to afford staying a night at a place like this. I don't even know why I'm here. I feel out of place now, as opposed to the previous sense of belonging. And I'm going floor to floor, and everyone's beautifully varnished with paintings that I've never seen and flowers that I wish I could smell. But I'm on a mission, and that couch looks so comfortable I could kick off my feet, and I'm so tired. Why am I tired? I'm dreaming, but oh, now I'm dreaming. You see what I'm saying? Why am I? I still don't understand why I'm here. And then finally, I get to a floor, and the doors open of the elevator, and instantly, I guess I was like, well, okay, you know. I didn't know what I was looking at or where I was, but I knew that the search was off. whatever it was, I was supposed to be here, and the extreme juxtaposition between this floor and every other floor. This floor, the way this floor, when I inhaled, I could feel how heavy the air was. It was cold and damp in my lungs. You know, like the basement of your grandparents' house, and and the furniture was tattered, and the paintings were inverted or didn't hold a picture in the frame, or and I mean this floor was so fucked up. I mean I could see out into the city through the walls. The walls are crumbling. It went from this you know, beautiful dream into this inception like. And I get off the elevator, and then Frankie's there. And she turns to me and she goes, "What are you doing here?" You know, I don't know. Um, and then Frankie bluntly says, "I don't want you here." And, no amount of pleading in that situation, no amount of, I don't know, no amount of, nothing can save you from the reality that is spitting you in the face at that moment. And so for a young man who's having a problem processing any sort of situation he's in, for me to have a place I can go, because I always try to give a person the benefit of the doubt. And people can say a lot of things about me, but they can't object to that fact. You know, because here's the truth: I'm not the fucking creme de la creme. Well, I am, but you know, even the cream goes sour every now and again. So, anyways, my point being, I will always try to give someone the benefit of the doubt. So, for a young man who is in denial and doesn't have any perspective, for me to be able to go behind the eyelid and have someone who will be brutally honest with me about, because it's not like Frankie was really there or Frankie ever really said those things to me, you know. But I couldn't conceptualize what was spitting me in the face here, so Buddy Behind the Eyelids did it for me, and he did it in a way that I had to feel it. Because if I'm operating off feeling and the reality, and my feelings are telling me, what I want to hear, sometimes I gotta have what it is being thrown into that frequency spiral as well. Anyways, that's probably all I'll talk about on dreams for now because I feel slightly embarrassed, I guess. Um, Maybe I'll talk about a few more, um, or some themes, I suppose. I'm not sure. I don't know if I should have shared that. But we ride, baby. Um, but then it's all. But then it, you know what? We'll talk about this because you know what? That first stream I talked about that brought me into even bringing up that story. The guy behind the eyelids will slap me in my face with reality, and then from that, I was able to process that. I moved on from her. But now I'm wondering as to why Frankie would be popping up in my dreams again. So the dream starts with me oversleeping, blah blah blah, overslept, and then Frankie shows up for no reason, and that's confusing to me. And then the next night, my entry goes as this. This confuses me as I thought I'd already dealt with her in previous dreams. Anyways, Frankie seemed to be doing well, and was communicating me to me. I don't want to say that. Um, I felt myself thinking of her, like thinking. Um, this confused me as I thought I already dealt with her in previous dreams. Anyways, Frankie showed up and seemed to be doing well. Um, I felt myself thinking of her in the dream but not acting upon it. Normally, I find myself hurting a young lady and running away. I will have to reflect why Frankie survived in my conscious past of the hotel dream, plus boxes outside of a house with bike dream. Oh, I forgot about that one. That's an interesting one. Anyways, so I'm wondering why this would be popping back up. And when I say that usually my dreams consist of me hurting a girl, let me clarify. Um, I love the bitches. The bitches love me. I don't have the best track record. Um, Tough pill to swallow, but it's also true. But perfect track record of never laying my hand on a woman. I have never assaulted a woman. I've never. I don't know. But so when I say. But in my dreams, unfortunately, let's just be candid here. I do hurt women. But it's always in a way that's on accident. Like, I'll always hurt a. Like. Okay, so it'll start off like. Jesus Christ. I hurt them in an unconventional way, and then I kind of throw my hands up and run away pretty much. I didn't mean to do it. It wasn't with malicious intent. But for whatever reason, it happens, and then I go on the run. I'm always on the run, and it's like the moment it happens, whatever romantic bliss I was feeling in my dream, everyone knows what I did, and they're chasing me. Like if normally what you did would result in the police chasing after you, it's like again, it's like picture Inception. It's like the more that you pay attention to the people inside of the dream, or kind of the less you blend in, the more attention that's paid to you. So it's like the moment that I disrupt something that wasn't supposed to happen, which I'm assuming is hurting this person or manifestation of feeling in my dream, then it's like fucked it up again, and then the walls start closing in, and then I go on the run, and the run theme is also apparent in things like um I remember this one dream. I think it felt like my sister. We were running through this cornfield, and then we come across this trailer that we used to live in, and we're in my parents' bedroom, and we grab change like coins, because my dad it was and is an avid kind of coin connoisseur. Um, and then boom, whatever happened, I just hurt my sister so bad that like how do you hurt something so bad that the rest of the world instantly knows about it? That's the theme, I suppose. Um, but the I've moved a lot in my life. Like, it's tough as a child, you know. I've left a lot of people um behind in different towns or places I lived in. I've left, friendships or romantic feeling, unspoken or spoken, you know. And as you get older, it's easy to regret those things. But also a part of me, um, I guess, like like part of me resents my parents' inability to keep me in one place. So then that resentment, I think, often manifests itself in, um, well, fuck it. If this isn't working, then I'll just blow it up because I can leave anyways, right? And then so when anger presents itself in my life now, it seems like all I know is to have an excuse to leave. And that's it was tough for me as a kid, and maybe other people feel this way too. I imagine it was very tough for me as a child to not feel in control of the conclusions that were being presented in my life. And I'm to a degree, what control are you, or what kind of control are you in of any conclusion? You know, Probably none. Um, but I wish a lot of it didn't conclude like that. How it did, just with me boxing all my shit up and you know brushing the tears off my shoulder of people that were saying goodbye to me. And for me, it's just another, see you soon party pretty much, because it's not like I was ever really here to stay. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, dude. Um, Ultimately, I suppose it doesn't matter what I'm talking about or what I think I'm talking about or what I'm supposed to or think I'm supposed to be talking about, because the point of this is just for me to talk. The point of this is just for me to connect with the weary traveler out there. The weary traveler. Um, 'Cause that's really what I am. Um, I don't really have a place, but everywhere's for me. And I'm not really supposed to be here, so I'll just go there. And then when there doesn't work out, I'll come back over here. I'm just kind of losing myself. I feel like I don't really know how coherent any of this episode was. I don't know how much of it made sense. I suppose I was kind of just. I've been thinking so much about these. This dream journal is kind of a new thing. And so I'm really hung up on it right now. I don't know why I'm so interested in dreams, but I figure whatever I'm interested I should probably share. Um, I feel like you know what? And back to this kid right here. If we're talking talents, if we're talking ability, he'll see the best in anyone, man. You know? To a fucking fault. And I've often been ridiculed about my choice of company, or I've been ridiculed about um, the people I keep in my life because maybe they're um, shady characters or questionable cats, but um, fuck, are they good, man? You know, I don't want some fucking pampered poodle in my life that you know barks when it's told or fucking only goes outside on a clock. I want that fucking Doberman that'll dig itself underneath the fucking fence and get out and do what the fuck it needs to do. You know? I want that fucking mutt that crawled out from behind the dumpster and he's been eating scraps for a couple days, bud, but I swear to God, if you get him around a couple kids, he'll wag his tail like he's never, you know what I'm saying? Like, these outcasts are these people in society that are tossed to the wayside. Or maybe they're being overshined by their own assumptions of themselves, or I suppose under assumptions of themselves, you know. I guess no selfish act is really selfless, or no selfless act is really without some sort of selfish benefit or whatever, but whenever I could, I always tried to make it a point. I remember telling this girl in high school, she was so quiet, so reserved, so unsure of herself, but fuck was she an artist. And dude, with the songs that she could sing through a pen, through a pen tip on a piece of paper, they were the melody of angels. And I didn't know how to convey that to her, and all I could ever tell her was that her art would change the world, and I didn't know what that meant or why I was saying it. Um, but the same friend I was talking to about my dreams, I was also telling them that, you know, that their perspective is just so special, so unique. It's so, and they'll never realize it. They'll never they don't they they'll never. Oh fuck, I gotta get off this, dude. I'm sorry. Maybe this is the beginning of a psychosis, mental break. I just get so frustrated. Okay, that's a thought for a different episode. Um, these people's potential is limitless. These people, we're in a timer now in this world where you know the cries of few are cries of many, and I wish people saw how much they had to offer. So with that, I'm trying to understand how much he has to offer. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. Um, yeah. Um, I promise I'm okay. I promise I'm doing well. I didn't talk any about Kentucky. I don't really know what I rambled about for this whole time, but Kentucky was probably, without hyperbole, the best week of my entire life. Um, and really, it was only like 4 days. Isn't that insane? It's so important to just wake up, or just consistently be around people that elevate you, or things that elevate you, and this elevates me. So my promise to you last time was you would see me sooner than the time before. With that, I reiterate the same promise. Um, from myself much younger, and Gorgon, the all-knowing. Um, please take a second with me if you'd like, or maybe it'll come tap you on the shoulder at a moment where you feel more willing to accept it. The the things that you've innately known to be true, they don't need second guessing. You will, but that doesn't negate the value of the original perception. My name is James Patrick. As always, it was lovely. Um, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those memes where it's like first third of the joint, second third of the joint, third third of the joint, and it's like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time, how I feel about doing this, the beginning always feels like, uh, uh, the Undertaker has me in a choke slam, but won't let me down. Middle, I kind of loosen up, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this. And then towards the end, I always um, kind of snowball on myself. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. It matters just as much as I let it matter. And nothing I say seems to matter. Jester's privilege. Salute, my friends. Um, Sooner than last time. Have a good night.